So guys, welcome to the update on the Mountaineer. The developers has posted some information and we will be reading through dev block 9. Our 9th Isonzo dev block is focused on a very special class, the Mountaineer. We obviously couldn't make a game set on the Italian front without including the specialists who train explicitly for Alpine warfare. So what is the role of the Mountaineer in Isonzo and what kind of skills and equipment do they have? Read on to find out. Mountaineer. With the training equipment suited for the extreme terrain of the Alps, Mountaineers excel at reconnaissance and infiltrating enemy positions. Mountain troops were used extensively by all factions on the Italian front, given that most of the terrain was extremely mountainous, ranging from steep foothills on the Carso to the extreme high altitudes in the Dolomites. For the Kingdom of Italy, there are the famous Alpini troops, while the Austro-Hungarian Empire could count on the famous Kaiserjäger to counter the Alpini. While the Kaiserjäger were not officially mountain troops, they were highly trained light infantry who fought hard in the rough terrain. Both have unique appearances, especially the Alpini with their characteristic cappello with feathers. We knew that representing the mountain troops in-game with specialized class design to scout and make their way through challenging environments quickly was essential. The equipment options reflect their role. The Mountaineer is the only class apart from the officer to be able to carry a flare gun, though the Mountaineer's flares work a little differently. One flare will grant spotting in the targeted area, identifying enemy forces on the minimap, while following up with a second flare will increase the speed and accuracy of any mortar being aimed by allies within that area. There is an obvious synergy in simultaneously spotting enemies and allowing more deadly mortar fire on those enemies. Other choices include binoculars for spotting without the ammo limitations of a flare gun, an ice pick melee weapon, a canteen, and even a bugle which inspires teammates around the Mountaineer to advance with perks like faster sprinting and suppression immunity. Representing Mountaineer knowledge of the terrain and the ability to lead troops through less obvious paths. The Mountaineers enjoy perks that suit their role as mobile scouts. The Alpinist perk grants double vault and climbing speed, allowing for swifter navigation across obstacles when moving vertically. The Observer perk gives the Mountaineer the ability to construct a periscope, which is a spotting tool that can be used by anyone on their team once built, and they can be built anywhere the Mountaineer deems useful. The construction system is something new to Isonzo that we've only hinted at it so far, but you can expect a larger blog about it soon. All of this isn't to say that the Mountaineers aren't ready to be in the thick of the fighting when things get hot. The aforementioned ice pick is a deadly close quarters weapon, and they have a variety of rifles and carbines to choose from, including some with bayonets. Speaking of weapons, today we'll also be looking at two of the more venerable rifles you'll see in action. You'll be able to unlock these as a Mountaineer weapon as you play. We'll talk more about how you can unlock weapons in Isonzo in the future dev blog. The original Verturli was a single-shot Swiss design from 1868, which Italy started manufacturing of their troops in 1871. That's far enough in the past that those rifles produced in the early days often had minor differences due to variations in local construction. Standardization was only introduced in 1874. By 1887, the Verturlis were being converted into 4-shot magazine rifles. This was the Verturli 1870/87, which would be replaced by the more modern 6-round Kakana rifle in 1891. But production of the more modern weapons never caught up to demand once the war started. By late 1915, the Italians were running low on modern rifles, so the Verturli 1870/87 was issued to various new regiments that nobody expected to see combat soon. However, the unpredictable nature of war meant that a number of these old rifles would see action as their users were forced into battle. If you don't mind a somewhat smaller magazine, the Verturli 1870/87 can serve you well. If the Verturli sounds long in the tooth, spare thought for the Austro-Hungarian troops who found themselves armed with the M1867 Wendel Haluk rifle. which was even older than the original Vertelli. A single-shot breech loader, the Verdun was the perfect serviceable but no match for the rate of fire modern guns. They were issued to some rare echelon forces so that more modern weapons could be concentrated in the frontline units, as the Italian soldiers issued Vertelli rifles. The troops given the Vendel did sometimes find themselves in combat with their decades-old firearms. If you can make every bullet count and avoid chaotic situations where you need more than one shot at a time, or bring your ice pick for when things get up and close and personal, the Vendel can be a very satisfying weapon to master. So that's the end of me reading this dev blog. We've got some interesting things coming. Make sure you like and subscribe, and that's the end of this video.